We need to learn about paradependency. Welcome back to another episode of Irrepressible, ordinary people with extraordinary resilience. In this episode, I speak to the absolute powerhouse in supporting children of alcoholics, Lara Taraman. Lara literally invented the word paradependency, where she's talking about people that are displaying the symptoms of alcohol dependence or drug dependence, or some of the symptoms of codependence, but are not yet actually codependent or alcohol dependent, but are displaying very similar symptoms as a result of living with an alcoholic. Lara is literally changing the world. She formed the help and support network that is now available in Argentina, the place where Lara is living and where this interview was conducted from. There is so much to take from this. Lara is an absolute incredible human being, with lots of knowledge and wisdom. If you're a child of an alcoholic, then this one is absolutely for you. If you're the first time you've ever been here, then make sure that you have subscribed and you turn on those notifications so you know each and every time I post another video. And I really hope you enjoy this interview as much as I did. So today we have a very special person all the way from Argentina. Lara is with us today. Lara, how are you doing?
How are you, Josh? Finally, we meet.
Yes, yeah, we've sort of been connected over social media and stuff for probably a number of years now, right? Based on
Yes.
things. Yeah, and this is the first time we've spoke face to face, so that's great. How are you doing? How do you feel?
I feel good. I just want my English to be good, so everybody understands what I'm trying to say.
And I guarantee you they will. I think you're more worried about your English than you need to be. I think you speak very good English. So
let's see again.
We'll see. Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing in the world at the moment?
Okay. Well, I have this program I founded 8 years ago to help children of persons with addictions. Like, I don't say parents because they are not always raised by their parents. And I go with persons with addictions to drugs, behaviors, including alcohol, of course. And I created this space because in Spanish, which is unbelievable, there was nothing written about children.
Wow.
So nothing. And of course, I mean, there was no place to go. And because of my story, which I will tell you afterwards a little bit, I needed a place to talk about this and to have peers and people to relate to and know that I wasn't alone, because I always felt I was the only one going through this. And actually I'm not. And so I made up this place, this program, and I find it at the beginning. I found it hard to get to people because of these shameful things that come with being raised in this kind of dysfunctional families. And so I started studying and investigation. I got my career in drugs. I had an MA in international relations before, that had nothing to do. And so I got a career in substance abuse and counseling and specialized in family and children of like young adults. And by reading and studying, I realized there was a difference between codependency and addiction and the children, because we had no choice. We couldn't choose to live. And as long as I kept on studying, I realized codependents could live if they wanted to, if they worked on it. And I know people who have problems, drug problems or alcohol problems, can't stop doing that if they choose to, and a lot of things happen. So I realized children had no choice.
Yeah.
So That was the first thing that I realized it was different from the other situations. The second thing is that the responsibility was different. Like, they were children, they were not the parents, they were not the couples. They didn't have they weren't allowed to manage the money in the house, and the roles were like inverted. So that was something that made a lot of noise in my head. Like, we act like addicts, we act like codependents, but we're not. So I came up with this word. I like playing with words, and I started calling children of addicted parents paradependents. Paradependence. It's like, I put it in paramedics. It's easier for me to say. It's like they look like medics, like doctors. They act like doctors. They are among doctors, but they are not doctors. So that's pretty much the para.
The paradependent. I think
it's good.
I remember when you first ever told me about it. Yeah, I do.
In Argentina, we can do things. So in the end of the world, we can do some. So my goal was to first make places and room for people to speak all along the country, or Latin America even, or Spain, because I know there wasn't places, and I didn't want them to be mixed with other family members, because it was totally different. And that was for me like the main purpose I still do. And finally, with all these pandemic moments, it's working much better, because people are drinking and taking drugs in their houses. They don't even live for that. So there are a lot of people that are asking for help, and I think that's very sad on one side, but very good that they have where to go. Because I'm being who I needed when I was younger, so I have this thing that I can help them. I can give them tools, not just because of what I've been through, but because of what I learned and studied. I'm like, I know. I don't have all the answers, but I can give them tools to survive. And to reduce the damage. Of course, we start with damage reduction already. We can start from the beginning, because they're already messed up. We're like
so you're working with them to try and reduce the damage and to reverse some of the problems that are caused, right?
Exactly. We don't care if their parents are still doing drugs or drinking or playing or whatever. It's just to protect themselves from the effects, and to have their own life without being all the time aware, like hyper vigilant.
Hyper vigilant.
Thank you. And like being like all the time worrying about what happened if you have fun, like something bad would happen. I had this thing that's personal, that I could have fun, but I knew that back then, if I had fun, something bad would happen. I blame it on me enjoying it, until I realized life is like this. You have good times, you have bad times. There's nothing you can do to avoid neither of them. And so I learned to enjoy the good things, because the bad things will come anyway. Okay. So in the bad times, I'm very optimistic anyway. That saved me a lot also. In the bad times, I know good things will come, because that's the way it goes. So that kind of keeps me going on. I have my times, of course. It's not like linear, recovery. In my case, I feel it like a recovery, and it's not linear. No, I have my ups and downs. I have years I'm perfect, almost perfect doesn't exist, and years I'm like, okay, we're going all over again, and we have to start all over again. It's like the never-ending story. and but still I never stop, because if I stop, I get bored.
Yeah.
So I rather generate things to feel better, because yes.
No, go on. I was just going to say, because from what you're saying and everything that you've managed to build and what you've been able to do for the children that are struggling in Argentina, right? And, and afar, really, you're talking a lot about this being born out of your experience, right? You're talking about your own journey now. And
Yes, now, but not every day. I
no,
don't talk about my path and my growing up stories. I don't do that.
no,
I respect my family here, so
yeah,
that's very important for me. And I don't need to, actually, because by studying and investigating and learning, and I keep on learning all the time, and watching videos of people like you who
yeah,
teach a lot, I learned the way that I can make something general,
yeah,
so I can reach everybody, because not everybody has the same story. And if I only tell my story, not everybody will relate. So I
yeah,
rather go to the facts. Okay, we
yeah,
have facts. We have 4 roles in the family. We have this. We have consequences, anxiety, depression, and trust, lack of trust in everybody. So it's me, but it's also everybody else.
yeah. But you've used them experience to make sure that you can reach people that may have experienced similar things or grown up in that environment. And I think
Exactly.
the roles that you've talked about are really important, right? Because that means that everybody experiences it different too.
Absolutely. I don't want to make it personal, because also in making it very personal, I lose a lot of objectiveness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Very good. Your
And
English is very, very good. You're getting it very good every time.
thank you. I passed. Anyways, that's what I'm doing now, and I'm working really hard on it. The only place I really talk about myself is in the groups. I coordinate groups of children, and that's confidential. So that's a place when I can speak and use myself as an example of what not to do or of what to do.
Yeah.
Because I had to learn. We still are learning what normal is. We never knew.
Yeah,
Like
I know about that.
normal parameters are like they are huge, but still I don't feel I still fit in the normal.
Yeah. But I think that's really, you've said something really important there about the sharing of your own experience, because obviously I'm somebody who does quite a bit of sharing online, but my circumstances kind of allow me to do that. And I get a lot of people that kind of say to me, I hope one day I could share like publicly like you do. And I always say, look, me sharing publicly is not, that's not a level of how well I'm doing in my healing, right? Lots of people, it's circumstantial, like you say, your family wouldn't be keen for you to speak in that way. So you find safe spaces online, right? Which really is just as kind of brave and courageous as me sharing publicly. It's just a circumstantial thing, right? And I think that's really important to say that.
If I had if I was allowed to do this, I would. It wouldn't change me. It wouldn't change how I feel and how it heals me. Okay.
No. Yeah.
That's good. Very good thing you said, because if somebody doesn't want to talk about their lives, they can relate in other ways.
Yeah.
In fact, when I talk in public, like in big places, which I hate, but I have to.
Yeah.
I never say something about myself. It comes up sometime, like by mistake. I go we. I get like a we are, but because it's also me. But I try not to do that, and the message goes and gets where it has to, because of the way I tell things. I don't say it from a book. I don't get a book and start, okay, paradependents have this, and I know what it is, and I know how it feels. I know how embarrassing it is to bring people to your house because it's a mess, and I know how people can go to other places when you are younger and think, okay, they're waiting for me to go to start making a chaos here. This is not normal. And I know the only certainty I had growing up is when chaos was coming, the only certainty I had. I never knew. I grew up like knowing that my parents both, because both they were taking drugs and alcohol, and they would almost die anytime. That was the feeling, the constant feeling. So I knew when things were going to get worse. And although I never saw them taking drugs, okay, I never saw the moment, but I knew I could recognize the before and of course the after. And it was a mess. And they would make a lot of fun of me because I cried a lot. I was the crier of the family. And I wouldn't shut up. I would tell truth all the time, and they didn't like me for that. I was always making mess in the another mess, like it wasn't enough. And my parents would, that's another thing that happens a lot in order when they're both, I mean, they both have the problem. The only way to stop is to split up. Like, so they would do that like 1 year with my siblings. We counted, and it was 17 times they split up.
Wow.
So it was like we used to bet how long it would take them to come back together and start again. And I don't know, I think we made a lot of mistakes. Of course, we didn't know, we had zero information about what having an addiction is and the sickness of addiction and how it works in the brain. Of course, we didn't know. That's what I now tell people. I explain everything that I needed to know, understand that it's not that they didn't love me, it's that really they couldn't stop doing what they were doing, and it wasn't personal, and that's a lot of baggage you carry afterwards. So going back to those times, I like drama a lot. I learned, like, it was like a soap opera all the time. So I finished my career in international relations, and I got a job in Israel in the embassy of Argentina.
Wow.
So sorry, so I left, and everybody was like, "You're going to the Middle East. It's war." And it's somebody, okay, go to my house. I was like, stay in my house, is the same, or even worse. So I left, and I went there, and I worked there in the embassy, which was really cool, you know, embassy. But I could never, I felt guilty back then. I felt guilty because I left my siblings in the mess, and my sister took care of that. I was like, okay, Lara, the fact that you left doesn't mean everything's okay here. But it gave me a lot of perspective. That's what I learned. I always thought back then, and I was old, I was like 25 when I left. And I always thought the problems, all the problems were my parents. It wasn't me. I wasn't affected by everything. That's what I thought. Say, okay, they have a problem, but I'm okay. I'm insensitive, nothing happens to me, I don't feel anything. So I came back. I started therapy, but I started therapy because a very good friend of mine had died of cancer, like of my age, and that broke me. And I went to therapists because I thought I was insensitive. Okay, and then everything came up, and okay, I was like a little messed up, and I had a lot of flaws and things that weren't mine, but somehow I had acquired them because I copied what my parents did. In attitudes and behaviors, not in. I didn't take drugs or alcohol, not in a abusing way, but still. And anyway, I started meditation also, that helped me a lot. Now I cannot concentrate, but I really, really recommend to stop the brain, because we tend to be overthinkers. and it's good to stop. Yeah,
I know all about that. Yeah, there's probably, I always say like my biggest addiction is just
think
consistently overthinking all of the time.
so.
And I miss stuff. I miss whole days. You know, we can go out for the day and I've been there the whole day thinking about something else. And,
Of
you know,
course,
so
I'm
yeah,
making connections, and everything is connected to everything, and
yeah,
everything has a reason why. And before, that's because I'm making like all these things.
yeah,
And I say, sometimes I say, poor my head. I don't know how like it works.
yeah,
But I am too much on, so I tend to overeat sometimes to stop that.
yeah,
I'm the kind of like overthinkers are the ones who have to stop that. So we go to alcohol or marijuana
yeah.
or food
Or
or
food. And
the ones that keeps us like slow a little bit
yeah, and food's
over
been a big one for me. You know, because I don't use alcohol and drugs now, I
food.
use food. So and but I'll use both ends. So as in during the day, sometimes it'll be like 1 o'clock, and I'll think I haven't eaten yet, and then I'll concentrate on not eating for the rest of the day, and I've got
Because
like
this I can do this,
because
and
I can
at
do it,
night
yeah, and it's like achievement, and I feel like I've got control, and it gives me something to think about. And then I get to the evening, and I've gone all day without eating, and then boom, I have a crash, and I have a big like purge binge, and I'll eat loads. And the thing is, before I go and have the binge, I'll go upstairs and I'll look in the mirror, and I'll be like, I've lost loads of weight today. I'll look really trim and lean, and then I'll have a
let's
big
fix that.
binge, yeah. And then I'll go to bed and I look in the mirror and I'm like, you're a disgrace. You're a fat, overweight mess. That's what I do.
Let's fix that. I know
Yeah.
how it feels. Trust me, I
And then
get
you're in
that.
that cycle, you know?
I
Yeah.
know, I know. I get the same thing. It's like black and white.
Yeah.
That's the black and white thing we have. We don't see the colors or the
Yeah.
grays in the middle.
Exactly.
And it's like we don't eat or we eat and too much.
Yeah.
And it's the same. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
So,
like, okay, I feel good. These jeans fit me today. And then I say, now I can eat. Let's celebrate.
yeah.
And then it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, we'll fix that. It's like, I think, as I told you, it's not linear. I was skinny for a long time, and then I got sick, malapraxis. They gave me a lot of hormones and steroids, and I got really fat again now. And I was like really mad for a year. Like, it's not my fault. It's not,
Yeah.
this one is not on me. Like, I didn't eat this one. And still, I
Yeah,
can't.
but it's like you say, that's important to know that it's up and down. You know, sometimes I'm really good, right? And I'm not struggling with my eating or anything, and everything's in check. And then I'll go through periods when I'm doing the other stuff as
Of
well.
course, it's not linear. If it
Exactly.
goes like this, you're dead.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly. Yeah,
If it goes linear, you're dead. So life is like this, ups and downs. In the downs, you learn things that will help you in the ups, like to
exactly.
stay even longer when you're in the good ones. And I learn a lot of things. When
Mm,
I'm not good, when I'm not well, which happens a lot, I'm not like, oh, okay, I have my life solved because I help people. And now
mm,
my son tells me, because I quit smoking before I was pregnant of him,
mm,
and I smoke again. I've been
mm.
smoking for 2 years now. When I got sick, I got like fat, and everything was like, okay, whatever, let's do the
Yeah,
fact, like, let's ruin everything
yeah,
completely. And he tells me, Lara, how come you go and tell people not to do drugs and not to do this and not to do that? Well, yes, they have this thing with the eating thing, you have this thing with the smoking thing. I mean, they will laugh at you. They were like, really? If
mm,
you tell them you smoke, they were like, stand up and laugh. I said, you're right. And he hates me sometimes because I overcompensate what I lacked, like the emotional
mm,
things with talks. And he's 9, okay?
yeah,
So everything that happens has to have this conversation about feelings and how do you feel. And he goes like, Mom, I just, like, I don't know, he goes to the hair mistress office I forgot how this
Yeah,
in
headmaster's
school.
office. Yeah.
When we had schools, now we don't have schools because of
Yeah.
the. And I say, okay, but what? How did you feel? What happened? I just was fighting with my friends. We do that. We're kids, mom. Like, no, stop it. Everything has to be talked. And yes, everything has to be talked. He hates me. That's what I do. And the thing is that once I accepted the process wasn't linear, and I could go back, it wasn't going back. That's the main thing. It wasn't going back. It was like reviewing, okay? Like going back to see, okay, this, I didn't fix this properly. Let's take a look again, and then it will get better. And that I know, I can say for a fact. So whenever somebody feels like, okay, I fucked up, I'm back where I was, it's not back where you were. It's like, it's a review. It's like, okay, something I missed here, and that doesn't let me go forward.
Yeah.
And that's the way I find it better for me, and it works. It's not that I'm like delusional and making up things. It works. And I also understood that perfect is not enemy of what's possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Or
love
the
that.
ideal, the ideal is not an enemy. It's not like or it's not like a choosing moment. It's like, okay, this is possible now.
Yeah.
I don't need perfection. I mean, I want perfection, which doesn't exist also, but the ideal doesn't have to be an enemy of what's possible.
That. Yeah, I love that.
Down.
Yeah.
And that thing that I told you that I'm who I needed when I was younger, helped me a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Because I have this thing as a daughter of trying to save all my life. I tried to save and help people. I used to date people that I had to save somehow, not from drugs, always like anything, or money, or therapy, or anything.
Yeah.
And I wasn't felt that like I was loved for who I was.
Yeah.
I had to do something to be loved.
Yeah.
And now I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I realize I'm pretty cool. I have a lot of flaws, but everybody does.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty cool. So I like myself. I like being with myself. I laugh a lot at myself and with myself. And so why shouldn't I be cool enough for anybody else? Like, I don't know if I'm expressing it properly.
You are expressing it really well. And I think it's a really, really important point that I think a lot of people believe that they need to be something in order to be lovable. And actually
do something.
Yeah, they need to do something in order. Yeah, but actually, if you be, if who you are is, we are innately, we are born with value. It's innate. Yeah,
absolutely.
So born with it. Yeah.
Josh, I don't move a finger now for people.
Yeah.
People, I date guys and everything. Okay, I need this. Okay, talk to your therapist, or go to the bank, or I don't know, deal with it. You're old enough to deal with it. I don't save anybody. I only help. That's what helped me a lot. I canalized, one of those. All my need to save and help to the people who need it and ask for it.
Yeah.
Okay, which is all these people I work with.
Amazing.
And that's the way I get, and I get to do that. I get to do that, but where it belongs, like where I have to do that.
Yeah.
And really, I don't move a finger. I say no so many times. I get scared sometimes, and
it's good. It's good.
I don't care. I don't move any. And that's also a really healing process, like to learn to be able, because I was so scared of saying no at the beginning years ago. And once I said no, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. And once I said, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to go there, and I don't feel like talking to, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes somebody got mad because they're used to me saying yes all the time. But afterwards, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Okay, it was all in my mind. So it saved me a lot, a lot. And nothing. I know I know I have plenty of difficulties and flaws. I try
Yeah.
to use them for something useful. Like while I can't fix them, I try to, as I told you, like channel them to something
Yeah.
useful, like my intensity. For example, I'm very like intense, and that goes to, when I go to the government, the state, to do something about children, and I
Mm.
fight and I stand for myself in this. Like I put the name of, I put children of addiction on the table in
Yeah.
Argentina, which is, that's my intensity. Okay,
Yeah.
it goes there. The helping part, I told you, like it goes to the children, and my, and everything I have, like except of the boundaries thing, which I still don't can
Yeah.
manage pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not very good with boundaries because I never learned how to. I never got them, the
Mm.
healthy ones. I got the no, you can't do this, and that's it, and that's not a boundary. And so I have to learn every day. Actually, my son teaches me, sorry, how to set him boundaries. He asks me to, like,
Yeah.
poor mother, she can't do this, and 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 that's also, it's good. He will be much better than I was. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. Breaking the cycle in that sense.
Totally, totally,
Yeah.
totally. He knows everything I do. He's very proud. He says I tell him I love him every day. I do love him every day. You know that I, no, it's
Yeah.
not overcompensation, but
Right.
there are things that I am not used to. No, needs to be said I love you by my parents. They started
Mm.
saying it like now that
Yeah.
they're old and maybe they're saying goodbye somehow. So
Yeah.
that now they started to say I love you. But I don't know. I think being optimistic saved my life.
Yeah.
Thinking I was very lucky saved my life. And somebody would say like, "How come you felt lucky all my life?" Because I always knew. I don't know if this is good or bad. I don't judge myself anymore. But I thought there were a lot of people that had it worse,
Mm.
and that's why I'm very thankful and very lucky of my life and how
Yeah.
it went. And nowadays that I'm older, and I realize there's no way I could have had a life like I call it a 9 to 5 life, like the
Yeah.
ones you go to the office, come back, and
Yeah. Yeah.
watch TV and have the dinner, and that's it. Okay, no, that's not life.
Not gonna work for you. Yeah.
No way. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. So pretty much that's me. And I think most people that are resilient don't know that maybe they are resilient even before they know the word.
Yeah. I think that's so true. And that's one of the
And
big reasons I'm doing this is because I want to show people that we have so much resilience, so many of us, but we don't even know half of the time. And that's, one of the big messages I want to get across. I'm a little bit
yes,
conscious of time.
okay.
So we had an incredible conversation, by the way, and that's why I didn't want to sort of bring up time at any point, because I think we got some really good stuff in. Before we sort of end, if there's anybody watching this that might be struggling with a parent in addiction, whether they're a young person or an adult, what would be the main advice you would give them?
First of all, I'll tell them they are in trouble.
Mm.
Okay, it's not. I know they're sick and tired of their parents, of everything they're going through. I know, but they need help.
Yeah.
And the first thing I always tell them is seek for therapy is like the main thing, or find somebody or some place they can talk about it.
Yeah.
Once you start talking about it and you start even without therapy, it's like you get it off your system, and
Yeah.
that's a lot. And I know most of the children don't think, young children
Mm.
don't think they were affected by it, because again, it's what they think it's normal and the only thing they know,
Mm.
and they don't know another thing. And because they are resilient, they still manage to have a life and everything. But really, if they saw their parents taking drugs, or they knew, or they saw them drinking or drunk or anything, I would ask them to get help. Therapy is the main thing, because they can have a even better life than the one they think they have.
Yeah.
And they can be the prime characters. How do you say that? Like a movie?
Yeah. The main, the
of
prime
their
character.
lives.
Yeah.
Okay. And even though they don't feel like they're victims, because most of us don't feel like victims, still they were affected in a lot of characteristics and things that can be fixed if they want to. Most of them can be fixed or improved. And that's the main thing I tell them. And to start like laughing a bit about what happened, try to put some sense of humor in it, because life is too complicated
Really
to
important.
be serious about it.
To not take it too seriously,
Don't take life too serious. Nobody takes you too serious. Nobody takes me too serious. So we shouldn't take each other like ourselves in a serious way. Nobody does. And that's mainly meditation. If they like to, that's also good. And I don't know, knowing that everything passes. That's the main thing. And you can do something about it and get better and feel better and take the guilt away from your life, which is like a big thing. And start trusting maybe people. I know we trust facts, not words, but I will go there. I would tell them that.
Incredible. Lara, this has been an incredibly powerful conversation. I think it's going to help a lot of people genuinely that have struggled with a parent that might be in addiction. I think it's incredible what you've achieved in Argentina in the way that you've changed the way that, they've gone from having absolutely nothing, no even written information.
Now I have a book.
Now, to having systems in place as well. So I want to say I appreciate you. I thank you for this conversation, and I can't wait to put it out.
Thank you.
I look forward to sharing it with everyone. Thank
you, Josh, for everything you're doing. You're an example to me also, and I follow your path. And so we're cool. I'm very happy to have this conversation and see you finally.
Yeah, brilliant.
So if somebody speaks Spanish, of course, they can reach me. I know I'll give you the links.
Yeah, we'll share all the links. They'll have all of them.
But if somebody speaks Spanish and need to speak in Spanish, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that are Spanish speakers that might watch you, and they can ask for help in Spanish. Okay, because this is something that happens around the world. It's not only you and your family.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks again, Lara.